We're all here today in support of new legislation that is designed to accomplish exactly what I called for in my State of the State address last month, banning cell phones in Ohio in our schools once and for all. It's time to do that. In last year's State of the State, I talked about the need to take action in this area. We need to be sure that our classrooms, frankly, are now cell phone free. Senator Timkin took the language that was actually passed, or that we talked about in the State of the State, and created a standalone bill, Senate Bill 158. That bill will ban student cell phone use during school hours. I want to thank her for taking that action. It is really time for us to do this. We all know that screen time is very, very addictive. Cell phone hazards, though, go even beyond that. Just having a phone nearby means students are receiving constant notifications all day long. Those notifications make it nearly impossible for students to focus and to learn. Studies consistently show that access to cell phones during school hours negatively impacts student learning and academic performance. Furthermore, these phones can be incredibly harmful to students' mental and emotional health. They expose our kids to things like cyberbullying, sextortion, which means that students are blackmailed with private sensitive images, videos, or information. Both of these factors increase the risk of suicide among our children. Tina Husted and her husband John, our former lieutenant governor and Ohio's newest U.S. senator, have been really leaders for a long, long time in protecting our kids from these hazards. And they have been working hard to make a difference. I want to thank them for all their work in advocating for our kids' safety online. We'll hear in a few moments from Tina. Last year, as I said, I asked the legislature to require every school district in the state to come up with a plan to minimize the use of cell phones in schools. As a result of that, our schools have really started to look at this. Many of them have already come up with plans. I think the results have been very good. We've heard repeatedly from teachers, principals, school board members, superintendents, and parents who say that when cell phones are banned during the school day, schools transform before their very eyes. They said that their kids are focused in the classroom. The lunchroom is noisy once again. Kids are actually talking to each other. The lunchroom is just different, they've told us. The kids are actually talking instead of burying their heads in their phones. These superintendents and principals and teachers tell us student engagement and attendance have actually improved. Grades are better. Socialization is improving and becoming more positive. The number of students being disciplined is down. All the numbers have improved. Even communication between students and teachers has improved because they have more opportunities just to interact with each other. As a country and as a state, we've learned much in this past year. Again, a year ago, we asked for the studies, or for the plans to the schools to study this, schools to come up with a plan and to implement that plan. But as we've looked at this and what has happened, and have seen the great results from the schools that have actually banned the cell phones, I think the jury has really returned on this issue. I think the evidence clearly shows from what we've seen across the state that every school in the state needs to ban the phones. It's time for us to finish the job. It's time to ban cell phones in every Ohio school. Senator Timkin's bill will do just that. And now I'd like to ask Senator Timkin to talk a little bit about her bill. Senator?
Good morning. Thank you, First Lady Fran DeWine, Governor DeWine, Senator Brenner, former Second Lady Tina Husted, and Superintendent Marshausen for all of your great work. It is my pleasure to take the mantle with this with Senate Bill 158. We've all seen since the explosion of social media and technology and cell phone use since the late 2000s that our children are more connected than ever to technology, but not to each other and interpersonal connections. We've seen through various social media apps that they are addicted. They are constantly on them, in their pocket, constant vibrations. It is estimated that the average child student in the classroom is getting over 11 notifications an hour. That adds up to almost 192 notifications during their waking hours. That means they're distracted, they're addicted, they're constantly wondering, what am I missing? What notification did I miss? This does not provide for a conducive learning environment, but also has damaging social effects. This legislation is a common sense approach to unplug our children from the constant distractions that they have in the classroom. It will reduce those distractions and allow instructions and facilitate the building of interpersonal relationships that are so vital to human development. By eliminating cell phone use in our classrooms, we will allow for improved academic performance and reduce the effects of cyberbullying and give students the tools that they will need to have a successful life academically and otherwise. I say, unplug our children so that they can plug themselves into a brighter future and thrive. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. Thank you very much. Last year, I signed House Bill 250, which required schools to implement formal policies regarding cell phones. This was really, I think, the first step that we needed to take. It was the first step that really motivated hundreds of school districts to finally ban phones from their classroom. Senator Andrew Brenner led the way on getting the cell phone provision added to that bill. I'd like to thank him for that and ask him to speak. Senator.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you all for being here today. Yes, we started off, the Governor gave his State of the State address a year ago, discussing, obviously, the use of cell phones in the classroom being a distraction. And I spoke with State Rep Tracy Richardson and House Bill 250, and we decided to amend that to start the process going of getting the cell phones out of the classrooms. One of the biggest concerns, and I know the Governor and the others up here all share, is that we've had a lot of problems with behavioral issues in classrooms with bullying. We've had to use and pass bills like Braden's Law to deal with these types of issues. And not only that, we've had a significant amount of learning loss. And I think most of this, or a large chunk of this, can be attributed to the use of cell phones and the constant distractions that are going on in the classrooms. By getting rid of the cell phones, I believe that this is a step in the right direction of turning our Ohio students around. And this isn't just here in Ohio, we've seen this nationally. So I think this is something that, this is something where Ohio is taking the lead on this, and I thank the Governor, I thank the former Lieutenant Governor and former Second Lady for also taking the lead in this a year ago. So I just appreciate all those that have been involved in this, and we are going to continue to work on it. In fact, later today, Senator Timkin's bill will be heard in the Senate Education Committee. We will have both sponsor testimony and proponent testimony in favor of the bill. and I believe this is something that will move quickly in the Ohio legislature. So thank you very much, and again, this is something that's been long coming.
Thank you very much. Let me now introduce Superintendent Marshhausen, who has strongly supported removing cell phones from our schools. Dublin City Schools were among the first districts in Ohio to implement a policy restricting cell phone use during the school day. Superintendent, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to thank Governor DeWine and his continued efforts to provide mental health services and leadership in this area in Ohio. I'd also like to thank Senator Timkin for introducing a standalone bill that will allow this legislation to move more quickly so that school districts have time to prepare and adjust policies and handbooks for the 2025-26 school year. And as Senator Brenner and I were talking, we've been working together for 15 years in various capacities, and his constant support for Ohio education is wonderful. As we went through this process in the Dublin City Schools, we had near unanimous support from our parents for banning cell phones from our schools. We have owned over 90,000 residents, and I received one complaint when we introduced the cell phone ban. In fact, as we've had meetings recently, our Business Advisory Council has talked about the importance of graduating students who can work and be successful without having the device in their hands. Our PTO Presidents Group has met and joined us as a district as we launch a campaign this spring to provide resources to parents when it comes to what can parents do during the summer months when it comes to parental controls on your phone, knowing what apps your students have, and when is it okay for a student to download certain apps at home. Because legislation like this not only gives us the opportunity as school districts to do the right thing, it opens up conversations with moms and dads, with grandmas and grandpas. Because what we do in school from 7:30 to 2:30 isn't enough. We need to partner with our parents. We need to collaborate with our parents. And mental health issues and our student safety takes all of us working together. And leadership like these elected officials bring to us in Ohio is a catalyst to those conversations, not only in schools, but in communities. So we're grateful that this bill hopefully moves fast through the legislative process, gets to the governor's desk so that as school districts, we have the opportunity to work this summer with our families, to work with our principals and teachers, to make sure that we give Ohio students every opportunity to be successful when they graduate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Senator Timkin's bill is one more way that we can use to make sure our children's cell phone use is really within healthy and productive limits. Another of those avenues is Braden's Law. Earlier this year, I was proud to sign Braden's Law, which takes effect actually tomorrow. The law is named after Braden Marcus, a 15-year-old Olentangy High School student from here in Central Ohio. Braden was the victim of a financial sextortion scam, which again means that someone attempted to publicly blackmail him with sensitive, private images, videos, or information. Unable to see an alternative solution, Braden tragically took his own life. Just a horrible, horrible tragedy. His family members, parents Jared and Jennifer Marcus and sister Ella Marcus, were not able to be here with us today, but they were key in making Braden's Law possible, and we thank them for that. Tina Husted was also very much involved in getting this done. As the mother of two teenage daughters, Tina is certainly passionate about this topic. She's joined us today to discuss not just Braden's Law and the role parents must play in keeping their kids safe online, but looking at this really from a holistic point of view. What do parents do when their children are not in school for the rest of the time, during summer and during after-school hours? Tina, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, Governor. Thank you, Governor and First Lady, for your leadership We know you love our families and our children. We're very, very grateful. Thank you, Senator Timkin. Thank you, Senator Brenner, and Superintendent Marchhausen. We've talked many times, and this is a team. This is a team effort, and we're super, super grateful. I also want to just thank the General Assembly for the work that was done on Braden's Law and the cell phone policies in schools that we've been continuing to address. This is such an important issue. So thanks to them for sounding the alarm. And that's kind of what I've been thinking about, is sounding the alarm to our families and to our parents. Online safety for our children is one of the most critical issues of our time. We must be leaders in our state and our country for the safety, mental health, and physical health of our children. I've compared online use to smoking back in the 40s and 50s. We didn't know what we didn't know. And now we know it causes cancer, emphysema, and other health issues. And now, after 12 plus years of smartphone use since 2012, we know that excessive use has resulted in a sharp increase of mental health issues for our kids. I would suggest that online overuse is much worse than what smoking was years ago, because over 90% of people, including our children, are using smartphones, especially social media and other apps, many of them unregulated and often laden with online predators. Perhaps we thought by giving our children unlimited access to smartphones was that we would open their worlds up to good that's out there. But instead, we've given everyone, the good and the bad, access to our children. As a parent and as an athletic coach myself, I have witnessed firsthand the dangers that online apps and social media can have to young children, as well as to developing teens. Every person here, and in our state and in our country for that matter, should read the book, The Anxious Generation, written by NYU social scientist Jonathan Haidt. If you would like to dive into the very concerning statistics that our kids are suffering, both mentally and physically, from excess online activity, he outlines that online use is disrupting our focus and our human relationships. In addition, we have left our children's classrooms, bedrooms, and minds wide open to an uncensored world. One surprising stat, and I'm a stat person, I loved stats when I was in college, was that our children spend less time outdoors than our prison inmates today. Excessive device is also impacting vision and hearing due to screen distances from the eyes and excessive high-volume headphone use to the ears. Not only are suicide rates and depression rates skyrocketing, our kids' physical health is also declining. Another staggering stat is that children under the age of 8, think of that, 8, are now averaging 2 hours and 40 minutes on digital devices. And this is particularly hitting our lower socioeconomic classes even harder, with their averages being 3 hours and 40 minutes compared to higher socioeconomic classes at 1 hour and 40 minutes. I sent you that stat, Governor. It's no secret there have been accounts of sextortion and online bullying in the state and the nation, which at times, as we've discussed today, has resulted in loss of life. But I believe truly that there's hope for parents and families who want to help their children. So today I want to offer to you and to families and parents 5 suggestions that will help your child's online health that I have personally employed. First, learn how to set up restrictions on your child's phone. All phones have this option. Find a friend, a guidance counselor, or plenty of online sites that will help you teach yourself how to set up these restrictions on the phone. Limit your child's activity on their device to less than 3 hours a day, per Jonathan Haidt. A child's phone should not be in their bedroom when they go to bed. Set phones to downtime through these restrictions from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Download an app that sends alerts when there is harmful or risky activity. There is a developer in our own state of Cleveland who is working on one now called Cyber Safely AI. There may be others out there with similar AI scans for digital threats. But most importantly, talk to your children. Make sure they know that they can come to you if they feel uncertain or threatened by anyone. As we have talked, we've had these legislative efforts with Braden's Law, cell phone policies in the schools, and now if you were listening to the federal platform, the Take It Down Act that the First Lady and Senator Cruz are talking about. I applaud all of those people who are involved in this great start, but we continue to need to educate our parents and our families. And for those who may object to concerns that this would be suppression of speech, I would suggest that age limits are set for a reason. There's a reason why children aren't permitted to smoke or to go to an R-rated movie or to purchase pornographic material. Those under the age of 18 have developing brains and bodies that can be impacted in a very negative way. We as adults need to protect them from the people who mean them harm and the online products designed to harm them. So no matter the resistance that we might hear, as we work on this issue together, always remember that our kids are our future. They are Ohio's future. They are our nation's future. We can all do this together to protect them and, in effect, make our families healthier together. God bless you, and thank you.